The opinions expressed in Let's Talk Big and the Let's Talk Big podcast by the program participants and or guests are not necessarily those of Outcast OCCR, Owens Community College Radio, the Owens Outcast Student Media Center or student volunteers and staff, or Owens Community College, or the Owens Community College faculty, staff, or administration.
This is Let's Talk Big, the Big Read with Jane Berger and Jen Hazel. The Owens Community College Campus Read is taking place now and throughout the semester, with the goal of bringing awareness of different perspectives through books. The Campus Read book is How We Fight for Our Lives by Saeed Jones, and tells the story of how each of us creates a place for ourselves in this world. Here to share their insight from the book is Owens Community College Director of Library Services, Jane Berger, and Professor of English, Jennifer Hazel.
Welcome back. We're here to talk big. I'm Jen Hazel, and I'm here with
Jane Berger, and we have a guest.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robert Vanetfeld, local artist, foul-mouthed bartender, and pie maker.
Really, it's the best of everything. You've got some beautiful art to look at while you sip your drink and have a bite of your pie. Like, does life get any better?
Robert. You are our Big Read artist this year. Your wonderful artwork is in our gallery in our library on the Findlay campus. Tell us about your inspiration for this. Where did this come from?
It was my response to having to face like a racist narrative at my job as a bartender at the time. And it was coming in from people I worked with, people who owned the business, and his friends, and our customers. I just felt like I was trapped, and I didn't know how to respond. So I combined my activism with my art, and shabamo. 2 years later, we have a 60-piece collection of a free resource that travels town to town in the faces of Black history.
Did you just pick up a brush and say, I think I'm going to paint Prince today, and voila, there it was. I mean, your artwork is just stunning, and it's moving. Yeah. And when I was down in the Findlay campus working one day, we had someone walk into the library solely because she had seen the artwork on the wall. She had no intention of coming in at all, and spent about an hour walking around, scanning QR codes, taking in the sites. Did you know you had this talent? Have you had training? Tell us about your journey.
I'm self-taught. It is pretty much like that. I did just paint someone one day because I've been a working artist for years. But I was just kind of stuck in a cog, and my mom was just saying, everything you need to succeed is pretty much under your nose. Take another look around.
It's just incredible. I highly encourage, urge, plead for anyone to stop by either campus and take a peek at his display. It is up until April 1st, I believe. Aside from just looking at the beautiful pieces, he's prepared these QR codes that give a lot of background and a lot of information about that particular painting that he did, the subject of it. Well, I'm not going to give any more away. You just need to come in and scan it.
Yeah, the cool thing is most of these people are part of like a recorded history in which you can actually read their words, you can see their speeches, and get like a first-hand account of something that's rarely taught. Who's going to teach you how to undo the machine? Most of these people are civil rights activists that have had to undo years of laws against them. A government isn't going to teach you how to
overthrow it.
Yeah,
or anything along those lines. Exactly.
Yeah. So I just think it is powerful and it is strong. And two, anyone can be active in their community as well by doing what they do. It's a great way to evolve by adding what you naturally do to create change, you know?
Absolutely. And I have another change I'm going to ask you about in a few minutes. Before we get there, I think one of the things that I want you to expand on is, can you tell us, for anyone who hasn't seen the artwork yet, the medium you use, and because it is highly interesting?
Well, I just think, I've like curated shows, and it just seems like you need all the ingredients to be part of something. This was a self-funded show, and so I had to take my single-parent wages and turn it into something. What I did is I bought drop cloth, and I used mismatched house paint to create these pieces because, much like the subjects, they were viewed as utilitarian. And I would listen to what Martin Luther King would say about how he created his group. He had to organize the information in order to make it sacred. And that's just kind of like how I saw paint drops on like a paint tarp. I mean, a paint tarp is a canvas. It's not just used for catching paint. And what if it caught paint in a way where it was sacred and organized? I used drop cloth and mismatched house paint. Organized it.
And I love that explanation too. What if it caught it in a way that it was organized?
Yeah.
Because it's something that we never think of. We think of it as trash almost, something that catches what we don't want, not what we do want.
Right. Right.
When I was at the opening reception for the art exhibit here on the Toledo campus, you were working on a painting that you were doing that you so generously donated to the college. It was just mind-blowing for me because I have a major disconnect from my brain and my eyes and my hand, so that what I see and what I want to create never happens. And there you were, in person, live, answering questions and kind of talking about your process, all the while making this stunning painting of our Big Read author, Saeed Jones. I just sat there with my mouth hanging open, like, how, well, I just put a little bit of this color here and it's not going to look very nice. All of a sudden, it's the shadows and how it just took shape. If I hadn't seen it, it was just amazing to me. I'm an art appreciator because I cannot be an art creator.
Yeah.
So it is.
Well, one thing I learned about doing with Black History is that most of these people that I've done had to work twice as hard as everybody else just to finish last. Here's the thing, like no one wanted a gay bartender, so I had to work twice as hard just to level up. And you'll see that for like an infringed society, is that usually the best persons are the ones that people are like have to be so shining to bust through. I just want to say thanks for all my bullies and people who didn't give me the time of day, because I really had to run faster, be harder, and create in a way where now it's like, whoa, how do you do that? Well, to be taken seriously. So I can paint, talk, and field questions and make a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah. Well, I know you had said, your mom had kind of given you some inspiration, and that's what I was just going to share again, a plug for mothers, that my mom always said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And certainly all of the things that you went through and all of the things that people throughout history, particularly Black history, have had to fight for, certainly made them stronger. And now what we have to do, it's our job to try to make everyone more tolerant, more understanding, more aware. We just need a kinder society.
Well, after years of that, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I just say, what doesn't kill me, just do it soon. After 2 years, like I've reached my limit.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very true.
Robert, at the core of what you're saying is really what we are trying to do here at Owens with the Big Read. Like, have people learn about different perspectives. And from that learning, hopefully people will take next steps to want to grow, to understand and appreciate people better. And so what you're describing is an action in the core of what it is that we're looking at to do. We're an institution of education. We're a community college. So we are not just looking at educating our students here. We're also looking at educating our staff and our faculty and our greater community. You are taking and helping educate others around within the community. And that is at the core of what this project is. It's getting where we want it to be. We want to be able to say, we are touching people beyond just these doors that walk into Owens. We are touching people in our community to understand that we need to hear voices and we need to understand and hear about perspectives that are not our own.
Right.
That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we accept people. That's how we become a better society, is through that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, as an educational institution, our job isn't just to educate through book learning. It's to make people better humans. So we need to educate the entire person, the entire student, the entire community. It's all been tied in through the commitment by our faculty and by our staff, who has allowed us to present these campus read topics, and then they adopt them within their classrooms. And we've had many students and even, staff here who have said, wow, I probably wouldn't have picked that book up, but I'm really glad I read it, or wow, I learned a lot When is he coming to campus? So one person at a time. I also oversee a senior citizen book discussion in Maumee. I had one of my ladies come up to me afterward and ask, tell me about the Big Read. I shared the book with her and told her about the art exhibit and told her about the author coming, and she is all excited. So now she tells some more people in the community and things start rolling along. So, in a perfect world, we'll just keep rolling along, one big read at a time, talking about topics that are a little bit difficult.
It takes one person to make a change, and bringing people like you, Robert, and your art to this campus shows our students, our campus community, and our greater community that it only takes one person to make change. And somebody...
Yeah, that's like what Lady Gaga said, that she rehearsed over and over, during...
A Star is Born?
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah,
it was A Star is Born, yeah.
One person, but it really takes a team of people, and it is a group effort, because I can do what I do, but it also takes what you guys do to bring it to the forefront. And I think in a place that's unique as Northwest Ohio, where we have a community that's divided by a river system and railroad tracks and farmland, you'll see these little pockets that oftentimes there's these safety bubbles that doesn't get to touch the belt or sea, and they can navigate within their own town the hardships of other parts of our community here. There's pockets of Toledo that are just struggling, need funding, and are underfunded, and shelters are closing down, and people don't have access to proper health care. I just think it's important to share everybody's stories, because you can see how these things fester, or they don't care because they're protected in their area.
Because they don't know. I mean, it all comes back to knowledge and education.
Right, absolutely. And experience and learning about someone that's not like you. And that's awesome, because there's a lot of things that you can learn, appreciate, and just grow and find out even more about yourself from people that are not like you. So on behalf of myself, Jen Hazel, Jane Berger, and Robert Vandeveld, thank you so much for coming, listening, and talking big with us.
Join us again for Let's Talk Big, the Big Read with Jane Berger and Jen Hazel.